Is it? Oh.
What's it called? Sync footage. Mic check. Cam check. Light. I don't know.
Okay, so welcome to episode 2 of Boys Don't Cry. And today, don't do that. Welcome to episode of Boys Don't Cry. My name is Lucid, and today I'm with
Tabz, gas, lemon squeeze, lemonade, big juice, big fruit, big lemon, do-rag lemon, handsome nigga lemon. What other lemons are there? Ripe lemon, freshly squeezed lemon.
Jesus. Okay, we appreciate your flamboyant introduction. Thank you for that. Okay, so this is how it's going to be, dog. I have 3 questions, but I'm not going to be asking them one after the other. I'm going to be asking the first one, then depending on your answer, maybe 1 or 2 follow-up questions, just like that. Simple, straightforward, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so question number 1. What did you think about the phrase Boys Don't Cry? Like when I talked to you about this and I told you it's going to be called Boys Don't Cry, what came to mind?
Okay, I mean, straight off the bat, of course, like, knowing who you are, I just figured that it had some shit to do with masculinity. I was like, okay, he's probably gonna go on some tip, because of course, masculine culture isn't necessarily addressed. It's kind of largely assumed and portrayed in so many different ways. Like, of course, the stereotypical thing is, boys don't cry, they have no they have no emotions, they're incredibly stoic. I was like, okay, cool. This nigga's probably gonna do a podcast based on masculinity and like how niggas have tough and we deal with all these issues. So that's essentially what came to mind.
Okay.
First thing.
And what do you think about that? Like, do you think that's something, I'm not confirming or denying, but based on what you just said, do you think that's something that's necessary or important, or I'm wasting my time?
No, of course it's necessary. I mean, well, firstly, to say you're wasting your time is incredibly harsh, but like it's definitely necessary in general, because a lot of us as men specifically have huge identity issues, trying to be something we're essentially not. Not really understanding what masculinity is, because a lot of people think masculinity is this bad thing, especially considering that it's associated with a lot of negative things, such as gender-based violence. And I mean, like, if you think of Tyrone, you think of a nigga who has like a wife beater and he's beating his wife. Like, there are just so many like negative things that come along with it that I guess the conversation is necessary. I don't know if people are necessarily willing to listen or understand how masculinity works and why there are issues and why it's necessary to talk about them. But it is necessary and definitely not wasting your time. I just hope it comes to fruition and shit works out. I talk like an NBA player on the conference thing.
Yeah.
Like, team did well. A lot of the team members, that our part doesn't come down to one game. We'll look at the future. Yeah,
You're so articulate, though. I appreciate that. Okay, I hear you. Okay, so who do you think is best suited to teach about masculinity? Especially young men, maybe our age mates and a bit younger, because we are at the stage where shit is getting real.
What do you mean by real?
Life in general, like taking responsibility. Okay, for me, taking responsibility for myself, things like that. So who do you think is the best person to teach? Person or persons or whatever?
Man, I don't think there's any answer to that, really. I mean, first and foremost, the best person to teach should be your father or your male guardian, in case there's a lack of a father. That's the first person who should teach, and probably the best person due to that person's influence over your life And I mean, the fact that you're a product of the environment they put you in, that's probably the best person. But in reality, a vast majority of men have masculinity incredibly fucked up. Niggas want to have bitches. You just want to have shawties here, being like, if I don't have body count of 32 when I'm 24, then I ain't shit. Or they feel as if I don't have a car, if I don't have this, if I'm not buff, if I'm not this type of person, they tend to, think of themselves as lesser. So that doesn't change suddenly because you're a father now. I mean, being a father literally just means having sex and it went wrong. I'm playing. Having sex and having a child. So a lot of fathers also don't understand, and they can't necessarily teach their children effectively on what masculinity is and what it means to be a man. So it's essentially fucks. I don't think that there are a lot of male figures who can teach. But if someone was delegated responsibility, it'd be your father figure or, father figure. That counts guardian. So.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Jesus. That gave me something to think about. But okay, I think now I can move on to the second question. So this one's a bit personal, yeah?
Don't do it, man.
I'm gonna do it.
Don't do it, man.
It's a bit personal. It's gonna hit home a bit.
This nigga setting me up.
Nah, I just need like this is just whatever, bruh. If you feel just as honest as possible.
Alright.
Don't be vague.
Don't be vague.
Okay, I'm sorry. Answer however you feel comfortable. When was the last time you cried and why?
Last time I cried, I think there was one instance that came to mind, but I don't think it's the last time. Because I think I did cry. Like, I haven't cried this year, being as only 2 months, but I remember crying like last year. No. You know what? Nah, I do remember. But it's not juicy. It's not as interesting as the first thought that came to mind. I literally, last time I cried was, like my aunt passed away, and it's sad. Like deadass. That's exactly why I cried.
You guys were close.
I mean, we're as close as an aunt and my nephew can really get. It's not like we were like best of pals, but of course, she's my aunt, dog. I mean, like we live far away, so I'm not really close with all my family members. Because I live in Gaz, they live in Francistown. So it's like we only see each other like once a year, but I mean, knowing someone for like 22 years, you have a very close relationship, even if you don't communicate that often.
Okay, do you want to share the juicy one?
Dog, it was about bitches, dog. That's crazy. Like the first one,
Yeah,
like the one that
mine.
came to mind. It was about a shorty. It was not really about a shorty, if I'm being honest. I realized that like shorties are like the manifestation of like, or what should I say? They are like a representation of a deeper issue. So like if a nigga, say like in high school, niggas would cry because they ask out a shorty, and then it's like, yo, bruh, she candid me, I wanna cry now. Like, you're not crying because you got rejected. Essentially, you're crying because you feel as if you need a shorty to complete your life, one, or you believe that it means something to your esteem if a shorty candles you as if you're not good enough, or you're concerned that your future with shorties could be short. There are like a lot of reasons just around the shorty, rather than you actually caring about whether the shorty likes you or not. I mean, it kind of sucks that a shorty doesn't like you, but I mean, to cry, like the definitely deeper issues. I know, like with me, I remember there was a time in high school, because I wasn't as handsome as I am now, but there was a time in high school I sat next to a shorty. I hope she's listening, but I bet she's not. because she probably doesn't have internet. I'm playing. I sat, I sat next to a shawty, right? And my nigga Moses, he was always like, yo, dog. Always like fucking getting this shit in my head. Fuck you, Moses. What the fuck? Always on some bro. Kinda like, I don't know. I can't say her name. But what could I say? Give me a generic Setswana name.
Go in it.
But her name was Kawan. I'm saying her name was. But like, yeah. It's like, Tamna Kawan that likes you, dog. I was like, and this is me in like 2010. No, not 2011. So I know, bruh, hey, there was a reason why I wasn't getting a hose. I didn't know how to dress, had no confidence, not assertive. Bruh, it was late. It was late.
It was tough.
Didn't have friends, no social status. It was late.
It was rough.
It was late. And I was almost, I would say 50% away. Because at the time, I still believed I was still entitled. So I'm sure there was some esteem in there. But look, he was always like, yo, she likes you. And she's like, fine. For as fine as a 13-year-old can get. So then I'm like, bro, you're capping. She's like, nah, dog, and if she looked at you, did I look? She's not looking for, like, she's not looking at all. I'm like, stop capping. Getting this shit in my head. Then one day we were in like the hall. And we were doing PE in the hall. We were doing badminton. And like a team was up. So then we had to chill on the bench to wait for our team to go in. So she was also on the bench. I was on the bench. And no one was sitting next to her. So this nigga, he was like, yo, dog, you should go talk to her. Go talk to Kawan. I was like, what are you saying, bro? I can't talk to girls. What are you saying? She doesn't even like me. What are you doing? So then he pushes me like to talk to her, like he's pushing me up the bench because it's a really long bench. So he's pushing me up until like I'm next to her. And you know, it's the very situation where it's like, yo, my nigga wants to talk to you, nigga's just there, doesn't know what to say. He's just there chilling. So then I'm next to her now, we're like close. And of course I have no Mac. I have low proficiency in social skills in general. So I don't know how to even make conversation. Just chilling. Then the shawty, like, she looks to like her left, which is me. And then she's like, loud. And I'm not exaggerating. She's like, da boga. Loud, right? Like it's loud, my nigga. She's like, da boga. Then she gets up and then she like goes, running away, right? And I'm just minding my business. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. And then the worst thing that can happen to like a nigga in Form 1 is like niggas started roasting. And the PE teacher wasn't there for shit. Niggas started roasting. Shorties were dying. Like there was some nigga who I hated. He came, was like, like niggas were roasting. I'm like, nigga, even my homies were roasting. Like I didn't know who to turn to, and I'm like against a wall, right? So I can't dip. And like I felt like crying so much, dog. My nigga, I felt like crying, but I held back the tears so much. I'm sure like I couldn't see. My nigga, I was just trying to hold them back. My nigga Moses is dying. I was like, my nigga, is this a setup or what? Niggas are dying, dog. Then she comes back. After a while, she sees she's caused havoc, as most my baba do. So then she's like, no guys, the thing is, I thought he was a girl. Nah, niggas are roasting. Niggas are still roasting. And I'm like, oh my god, you didn't help the situation. I'm like, damn. Even though like that roast wasn't as bad as the first, niggas were still roasting. But essentially, it died down, of course. Hey, but that shit stuck with me. And then like when like I got home, my nigga, like I just cried, gang cried, my nigga. I was like, I'm ugly, I can't get shawties, I'm failing. I was like, it's late. Dog.
I'm like,
and I was like, and dead ass, dog, like in the dining room, because like at the time, like I'd share like my room with my sister. So then like I couldn't cry in my room. So then I just chilled like at the back of the dining room on the floor, just chilling, like crying for a span. Just cried. I was like, damn, dog. Kinda in the back of my head, I was like, when maybe what if she liked me? Now I know she doesn't. Niggas roasted me. I'm ugly. It's crazy. And then my sister walked in. She's like, why are you crying? I was like, dog, I'm crying because I'm ugly, dog. What you think, dog? Niggas didn't tell me I'm ugly. Now I'm going to school. I have to go to school tomorrow. Have no bitches. Dog, it's late. I thought I just started school at the high. I thought I'd be getting shorties. It's a new slate. I wasn't getting shorties in standard 7. Same shit is happening. It's late, dog. And like it was just crazy. But really it's not even about the shorty.
Yeah.
It's because I thought I was
The after, like what happened afterwards, the way the world responded to the whole situation.
For sure, and the fact that like my esteem was so low that I thought that a shorty running away thinking I'm a girl meant something. You know, I thought it now suddenly, and I'm like now suddenly it means I'm ugly, or it could mean something in general. So like that packed me hard, and there were several situations like that where a shawty would do the wildest thing, and it's unprovoked. That's crazy. I was just chilling, didn't even want to be here. My nigga Moses is forcing me to talk to this Lababa. I've never even held a girl's hand. You know, it's like, damn, bro.
I feel like females have they play a huge role in our self-esteem, especially when we're younger. Like interactions with females really,
but it shouldn't.
But it shouldn't. But they do, because we're social animals. Kind of the thing about being human is you can't help but want. First of all, you long for attention from not even opposite sex, even just other people, because we are social beings. And then you need validation from the opposite sex, because if you're straight, because it means, you know, I'm someone worth interacting with, things like that. So I get what you're saying.
But I don't necessarily agree. I don't think it's for men specifically. Of course, like, you would want to be attractive, and growing up we just use females as a basis.
As validation.
Yeah, as like validating our attractiveness. But it's not really because, well, at least I don't think it's a thing of because we want them. It's more of a thing.
Oh no, yeah.
Like it just
needs,
we don't have our own. We don't even understand really why niggas are attracted. One, and then it's like, okay, this is like our rationale. Just okay, cool. If a shawty likes me, I'm attractive. If I don't get bitches, okay, I'm not attractive. But if you look at what makes niggas attractive, like confidence, being cute, being buff, assertive, having money, like you see, I'm naming shit that has nothing to do with anyone else.
And things that you cannot be concerned with when you're 13 years old.
For sure. Yeah. So, like, I could get no bitches for 20 years, but I could still be attractive.
And then out of nowhere, you're like, where do all you girls come from? Okay.
For sure.
So you know how there's this thing that, you know, when you cry, a huge burden is lifted off your shoulders or whatever. Is that what happens to you in those particular situations? Whether it's about a girl or your aunt? Huge
burden. Lifted off.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Nothing.
No, not even.
How do you feel afterwards?
My nigga, I feel like shit. I'm like, why the fuck am I crying? Nigga, what the fuck you doing? Why are you crying? Especially over shorties. My guy, get a life. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Honestly. Like, it's ridiculous that I'm crying. One. Two, like, crying, sure, it may feel relieving after. But at the end of the day, if I'm not working on the things which led to me crying, I'm still gonna feel that burden. Maybe not in the moment. You know, it's like, maybe not in the moment, but eventually I still will. You know, it's like niggas with shoddy anxiety. Like, the only way you can get over anxiety with a woman is being with women, chilling with women, hanging out with them, seeing that they're not these mystical creatures that poop ice cream. You know, it's like you'll always have that anxiety, but it will only go away after you work on it. So you can be chilling with the niggas, you're completely comfortable, you feel like the burden is gone, but it's still there. And you know, it only becomes uncomfortable when it's tough. So like, say you have low self-esteem, the burden is there, but it chows when you get cunded by a shoddy or your girl cheats on you. That's when it chows. So then I mean, after you cry, you might feel better, but the burden is still there, and until you work on it, that's when it lands. So, yeah.
Okay. All right, I feel you. Okay, so I think this is a good time to ask you the third question. So, before this conversation started, not even just before this conversation started, I'm sure before you reached this conclusion you have right now about boys crying and what it means for boys to cry or whatever, it has changed from something else to what it is right now. So, what is the biggest change that you think you've identified as far as understanding what you understand now and what it means to you to cry right now?
Wait. So you mean like the difference between what I thought it meant to cry?
What do you think it means to cry right now?
I don't know if it changed, man. I don't know if it really changed like that. I mean, crying then. Look, man, I've cried in some like very inappropriate situations. There was a time my nigga punked us. It's so wild thinking back to the fact that I actually cried because of that. Yeah, I was soft as hell. Still soft, but that's ridiculous. But like my nigga punked, she was making on some shorty. I didn't think he was making, really. Like, I mean, women and men could be friends, right? So, this nigga, he's making. And I'm chilling with my goons, and we see him making, but I'm just like, they're just talking. And Punkage is my nigga. He's really like my nigga. He's never talked about this shorty ever. Not even that she's attractive. To be fair, she wasn't even fine. I was like, my nigga, yeah, handsome guy, I do better, dog, or whatever. Like, it just never crossed my mind that he could be making. She was probably entertaining it because he's a handsome nigga. So he's making. I land. I'm like just chilling, talking. Shit seems good. Normal conversation. I land. And then like he comes to the niggas. He's like, yo, bruh, you called blocking me. What you doing, dog? Then I just started crying, dog. And I was like, dog, I'm sorry, dog. Like, come on. Like, I didn't know you were making. Like, it's just so crazy. Like, I never really had a belief of what crying meant. Apart from it just being something which can be regarded as inappropriate, which I still feel to an extent. I mean, the philosophy around being in your feels is like really wishy-washy. At one point, fine, it's okay to cry, but my nigga, like, you can't be crying all the time. But then, does that mean it's not okay to cry sometimes? Like, I felt it was like inappropriate. I didn't think it really meant anything truly about my character, apart from the fact that I cry a lot. like I felt I was soft for a bunch of other reasons, way too many reasons to believe that this crying thing could ever mean that shit, But of course, like, listening to what I'm saying now, it's not exactly true, because if I was afraid to cry in front of my sister, then I probably think it meant something about myself. But like, my point is, like, I don't think it's changed too much. Like, I wouldn't cry in front of my niggas now, because that's wild.
Really?
But yes, it's
in front of your niggas?
Wild. In front of my
guys
niggas.
in the group chat.
Look, man, let me be honest, man. I don't really fuck with too many niggas like that. So like, when you say your niggas, don't think it's like niggas who, like, I'm a bit of a bastard, honestly. Like, my bar for niggas who I really think are really my friends is so high that I'm sure if I named the niggas who I thought were my friends, a lot of people I know would be very offended
because they didn't make the cut.
Yeah, they would be like, they would be entitled to me thinking I'm that my friend. I'm that friend for sure, but I just, like, from that character, our goals in life, our perspectives, it just doesn't meet. But that's not to say I fuck with them. Like, we can be incredibly friendly, but that doesn't really mean we're friends. You know, sometimes niggas will just call me. I'm like, this nigga thinks he's my homie. What's this nigga doing? Like, come on, dog. Not to say you shouldn't call me, but I mean, come on, dog. Like, like, you know. But like, say like someone who's like really my friend, even though she's a shawty, like Mimi. Like I regard Mimi as a really cool friend, even though I mean, we've known each other like 5 years, which is a long time. But I've known niggas for longer, and I'm just like, it's not there, bro. Like sometimes, like you say some shit that I don't fuck with. Sometimes you do shit that I just feel is pretentious, and I'm just like, I don't fuck with this part of your character. So it's just hard, man. Like we can't really be friends like that, essentially. So I don't want to cry around people like that. Maybe I don't know if I can cry in front of Mimi like that, but I think I could. Be very awkward in my perspective. Be very awkward. I'd probably make jokes, but yeah, I don't think a lot has changed. It's probably more or less the same. Genuinely.
Okay, I feel you.
So,
I appreciate your honesty, dog. But I think maybe, you know,
it's not like I've grown up like, oh, it doesn't mean anything. I could cry in front of the mailman.
Okay, I'm sure. I think maybe now that's it. I don't have any more questions, but if you would like to say anything in closing remarks, a little bit of advice or whatever.
Download my music.
Okay, guys.
I guess a thing in regards to masculinity, maybe you'll ask like the next nigga, but you probably don't have the keys like that. But just in general, with masculinity, like it's a very serious issue that needs to be tackled. My bad for burping. It's a very serious issue, which is like highly underrated. You know, in regards to gender-based violence, in regards to niggas being generally wild, in regards to niggas having, if they're not rapists already, rape mentality, which is part of gender-based violence. Like, a lot of it just stems around the identity of what it means to be a man. And you know, incredibly pressed on the ethics that lead to why men do a lot of shit. But at the end of the day, like, there's a lot of shit to be said about men who have low self-esteem, about men who have a low sense of identity, who don't have passion. I mean, not passion, but haven't even tried to find the purpose. And it seems like on the surface, like, okay, but like, you know, men are really fucked in the sense that on one perspective, of guys who don't have self-esteem, of guys who don't have a good sense of identity, we have guys who are incels on one perspective. Then we have guys who are rapists and they beat women, but they're really in the same boat. Because say the incel, he has no self-esteem, thinks that he can't get women just based off of who he is, which is an incredibly limiting belief. He believes that women are also bad people, which is another limiting belief. He has no self-esteem or drive, so chills in like his room and does shit, like doesn't do anything with his life. And you know, some incels kill women. You know, like the most famous incel killed like I think 10 women at a time, and wrote in his, what's that thing that niggas writes before they kill themselves? Memoir? What is it?
Suicide note.
Not suicide note, not that, but like after they kill people and then manifesto. He wrote in his like manifesto. I think that's what it's called.
Like, manifesto is what political parties put out to show what their agenda is.
I think it's the same thing. Because look at Dave Chappelle. He said that some guy put out a manifesto, and Dave Chappelle heard about it because he was in the manifesto. Then the guy killed like a bunch of FBI agents or some shit. Maybe I'm wrong, but like he was like, yo, I'm killing these women because of an incel. Women are full of shit. They only like both Chad and Tyrone, the niggas who are like this. And then on the other hand, you have niggas who rape and kill based off of the fact that they believe that women are sexual objects, and that, you know, if for say like passion killings, if I can't have her, no one else will, which is in tune with his identity. If he doesn't have a shorty, like say Trevor Noah's dad, he had big identity issues. You know, the first time his wife, Trevor's mom, was tuning him shit, he beat her because he couldn't handle a woman disrespecting him. Then the question is like, why is your respect based off of how a woman perceives you? It should be self-perceived. That's an identity issue. He bought a gun. Trevor Noah asked him, why are you buying a gun when you're drunk? And blah blah blah. He's like, people will respect me if I have a gun. Identity issue. Then, you know, when his wife left him, he went to kill Trevor's mom, which is, you know, Trevor's one of the most popular jokes. So he's like, she got shot in the ass and whatever. That was a deep item.
I've
Like,
actually seen the skit, yeah.
yeah, he's like, you know, he went to literally kill not only his wife but his sons, including Trevor. And it's mainly because he felt he was probably less of a man if he doesn't have his wife. Identity issue. Like that, just so many identity issues, even like the guys who are in the middle. See a guy who can't talk to girls. His self-validation, it's not even self, his validation is based off of what a woman thinks of him, so you can't catch an L. You know, a nigga thinks that if he sends a dick pic, he can get a shorty, and you know, like mainly because of his perception of what women are and what it means to be a man, thinking, okay, dick means I have this or something. Just a very strange rationale into, you know, what it is to be a masculine, attractive man. Like there's so many issues that are based around identity, which are overlooked, you know, highly swept under the rug. And yeah, as men who were just fucked, you know. You can't get girls, you probably have identity issues. You know, you beat women, probably have identity issues. You worship women and you pay for the OnlyFans, probably have identity issues. You know, so it's I don't know. It's eye-opening for me because that identity shit really fucks with us, a lot of us. You know, because niggas can't handle it. Imagine like, you know, your girl cheats on you, and your basis of who you are was based off of you having a girl. You feel as if you're a guy who has a girl. That's your narrative. Now your girl left you. Now you're less of yourself. You know what I mean? It's like it's really deep. Women have the same thing, especially if they don't have bums or bobs. You know, they'll be like, I'm not an attractive woman, hella, cause, you know, especially if you're dark skinned, you don't have bums, you don't have bobs. It's tough, bro. It's tough, you know. All you see on Instagram is light skinned shorties with bums and bobs. Niggas are worshipping the ground, boy. Need that. Niggas are calling that. Need that. Please, I can't breathe. Sending them dick pics, asking for food pictures, drinking the bath water. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Okay, I feel like, Jesus, dog. I think I should have made you the last person.
Yeah, niggas aren't gonna do this.
Damn. And this is one of the reasons why I really wanted to do this. So I'm not gonna talk much about it. My 2 cents are coming. Thank you, Tabz, for joining me.
For sure.
Thank you for whoever listened and interacted with the video/audio.
Hey, yo, punkers, dog. Stop settling for shorties, my nigga. I don't know why you were making on that hunt. She's not gonna listen to this, hopefully, but hey, you're not that bad if you're listening. But my nigga, punkers, dog. Okay, now cool.
Okay, see you guys next week. Holy